Greetings once again, defenders of the Imperium of Man. As requested, the Thunderhawk. We start with a landing gear, even with the back three of these oval markers on the floor. Then, 3 Titan-class walkways. You're using these to create the angled shape of the nose. Radiator casing on the front, Albatross cargo tank on the rear. Delete the rear. We're going to rock hop the 2 Habs that remain farther back by 1/2 step. Replicate the cargo tank, continue the diagonal in the rear. 2 more walkways on top. You're going to rock hop these back 1/2 step to use as guidance for the cargo tank. You do not want to use a cargo tank on the front. You want to use a Albatross Sidepod. Delete those and replace with 1 large Hab, level with the 2 below. Replicate a walkway up. Clip it halfway through the cargo tank on the rear. 1 more walkway vertical for deck 3. Add a Thunderbird Cockpit. Then you replicate the full-length Hab. Place 1, 2. Then you replicate the Titan-class walkway twice. Then you build 1 vertical down at the very back end like so. You add a Kineostream Thruster to that lower walkway. We are going to offset build this walkway forward and to the side. And down by 1 to create the framework for the engine covers. Grab the engine covers. We're going to place 1 round like so. Now you go to the other side. Rock hop them both forward by 1/2 step. Move the rock hop. Move your walkway forward. Go back to the port side. Replicate your engine covers 1/2 step forward. Like so. Replicate the Titan-class walkway down. And then build 2. We're going to continue building out the main engine housing. You get a Speedbird Cowling and clip it through what you just built, like so. You will eventually be adding this engine. But we are going to build out the wing segments before because it becomes increasingly difficult to see. Need to rock hop these up and forward by 1/2 step. And the alignment you're looking for is directly in line with the rear engine. But we need it to be 1/2 step back. We grab a rock hopper. Slide it back 1/2 step. So this is 1/2 behind the level of the main spine that we built earlier for distancing purposes. You can tell you've done it right. Flaring on the rear of the engine matches the end of the spine. We're building off of the offset Habs that we used to install the engine. We are going to grab Longshore Cowling. We're going to build it just off to the starboard side of the engine. It floats slightly, but we are going to clip through later. We build another Longshore Cowling to the rear. And clip through once you've removed that walkway that's cutting through the engine. And we want the engine to be bisected by the wings, or inset. We're now going to thicken up the main spine. We want 2 Habs, offset built from the center line by 1/2, but on the same clipping line. Replicate 1 more Hab up and place it 1 walkway in from the end. You can try to install the wing like this, but that's not the wing I like. I prefer using a Vesper Diffuser mounted in such a way that the streamlined end faces backwards and it is clipped so the centers align to the center line of the ship. We are going to start framing in that back diagonal of the ship. I like to use Albatross side tanks. Build this up. Use your trusty rock hopper. Set up 1/2 step forward. Replicate cargo tanks in place. So you're going to use 3 cargo tanks total. And we'll come in and work on that segment to finish it up in the refining segment of the video. Now you're going to offset build this center line hat down and forward. And we want to install a Ceto-Class Reactor. You will be moving this back momentarily. You install 1 Albatross Sidepod right on the center line, 1 walkway width behind the cockpit. And you need to install 1 Hab, like so, right behind that, all on the vertical line. We're using a Turbine Cowling to form the base of the iconic spine cannon. We're going to move the Ceto-Class Reactor back 1/2 step. If you need to access your parts that are clipped in, just delete what you need to get a clear visible line. Grab the Hab, walk it back, and mount the reactor. That's the angle we look, but we also need it 1/2 height higher. So move it back 2 full steps and install. Once you've finished with your rock hopping technique, don't forget to replace the Habs that you deleted. Install walkways. This is offset from the vertical line. This is to build the beautiful top fin. You're going to use thermal grills for the cross piece at the top or the veining. I didn't much like the placement, so I moved it back into that diagonal. I find that looks a lot better. The second wing is quite easy. You start with the wings, or those Longshore Cowlings, and you look for where your parts are mounted and just replicate one walkway to the side to make your life easier. You don't actually want to install that inner one first. You have to install the outer Longshore Cowling, delete the walkway, and then install the other Longshore Cowling. Next stage is the engine. Attach like so. Check your alignment. It's looking good. Replicate one walkway to the rear. This is for mounting that rear Longshore Cowling. There we go, that's basically the main hull. Just tidy some things up. To add some thickness and gravitas that the Thunderbird has, we use swept casings at the top. The great part about the Thunderbird and this model is there's a lot of room for customization. You can swap out other parts to really make this feel like your own. I also install thermal grills on the top deck, same deck as the cockpit, and that serves as the weapon mounting platform. I prefer having the Photon cannon arrays. Mounted like so. So we're going to prepare to do some 180-degree glitch build. We need to build one walkway to the starboard and the port side, install a landing bay, and that's all you need to do to set up the reversing technique. We're now going to install the gantries so that we can build the cannon in decorator mode. I also prefer to have Argonaut Aerofoils at the top, just to lead into those casings. You will need to remove two, just so you can have a good place to snap to. But we want to build halfway through the center line. This is building off of the offset line that we set. See how it's clipping through that turbine. On this side, we are building a platform to stand on. Ideally, you want to build one back about there or there. As you see, I almost walk off the edge. So this is to install the cannon. what I'm going to do now is build out the vehicle and cargo carrier. So delete all of the walkways and habs on the underside. You're going to use some Speedbird Cowlings to clip through and provide a little bit of framing to the cargo bay area. I find I like to clip it there. If you want, you can also work through and set it back another half step by inverting the build so it anchors to the side, not the center line. And that just gives the cargo area a little bit more room. This is entirely aesthetic, non-functional. So to give the cargo area some framing, I grab a radiator casing. I try for a while here to set it behind to anchor it further back, but that area right there is the only place I have found to start this run. So you're going to run 4 radiator casings down the starboard and 4 on the port. Again, starting at that front area right near that top diagonal piece. Here's trying to clip and anchor 2 halves higher up. But if you start right there, next to the diagonal, you'll get what you need. Alright, so that's the cargo area. We're going to add landing gear to the back here. We want to anchor near these lights, diagonally back to the port and starboard. You could try using a cargo capsule to connect them to the ship, like so. But I found that just looked weird. So the best option I found through testing was to have a Speedbird Diffuser rotated like so. You can also move it to the port and starboard 1 landing gear width, rotate it so it's facing the inside line of the ship. So this to the right, straight horizontal. Move the Speedbird Diffuser. It only wants to be mounted on the inside line of the ship, and that just gives you a bit more room for your landing cargo area. So, we're going to do the final bit of setup for the 180-degree rotation trick. You grab a stairway and place it dead center on the part you want to swap. Not all the way back to the workshop. And now move your camera down. That's the walkway entrance, and this is what we want to rotate. So you select it, move it back so it's exactly the same place, and just use your rotation key. You also need to rotate the walkway behind, or you will not be able to get into the ship. Now we've done that, we now have a forward-facing entry ramp. Be careful not to rotate any other parts, because that will affect how the cockpit and the rest of the parts attach to the ship. So now we're done with that rotation. We'll move on and build more cosmetic parts of the ship. Alright, so we're going to start the cannon right where it looks very obvious to do so. I find it helps turn on the toggle torch. And I also swap into first person view. Just removes distractions. Now you're going to go into the decoration menu and you're going to grab a sealed barrel. Activate free placement. And if I'd had one more walkway to the rear, I wouldn't have had to fall like this. But that's what I do here at Nighttime Gaming. I fall off of ships. A lot. So you want to change to rotate just on Z and align it to the cannon base. Then you clip the top of the canister into the base of the next canister up. So I find 5 barrels is about the right length. You could do 6. I always do a fit check. Fly up. Check everything's straight. Pretty good. Fly out. Check proportions. So now we're going to use some flat panels. Yes, I know. Flat panels. But there's only 6 in the entire build, so it'll be okay. So you're going to grab a flat panel. Size it up just slightly. And a little bit more. Till it's about half the width of the walkways that you've built. One straight vertical. I find standing on the spine of the ship, just above the reactor, gives the best angle. So you build one more straight vertical, and then you rotate it slightly to clip it in like so. That gives you a nice fin and tower. I really like this part of the build. You're going to grab a robotic arm. Just there, under decorative technology. And you size it up. And you're going to use these indentations on the radiator casings to install 6 arms per side. Five. This last one can be a little tricky. Just have to aim at that center line. So you have one side installed. Go mount on the other side. And these arms will aid in the extermination of the enemies of man by dropping off Terminators, Dreadnoughts, tanks, and all manner of holy weaponry in the crusade against the dread enemies of man. You paint them black so it fits with the rest of the ship. Now, I need to install some storage panels on the side to increase the bulk of the nose area. You grab your storage panels, size them up. You're going to place one like so. A second clips through just about halfway, and a third on the bottom. That's one column of 3 done. Go back 1, 2, and 3. I didn't really like how it looked installing another layer back here, but you certainly can. Here I'm experimenting with adding a second layer of armor on the outside, but I found that when I did the aesthetics check from the front, it just looked off. When you are installing these panels, you will have to move around because they do clip through the cannon array there. With the second layer of armor, you can see that you're covering the cannon, and it just doesn't look right. So in the end, you just use 6 panels, or 7 if you want to extend the line on that top row. Build down, half set through, in place. I use these small dark black rectangles as placement guides. The cannon can make it a bit tricky. And there you go. Next step is to install those amazing serrations on the nose. So you go into decoration panel, furnishings, and look for a tall cabinet. You want to size it down so it fits in that small gap. One either side, one dead center. 5 in total. These teeth help make that vicious nose. The brutal fist of the Emperor. Just gonna install some side panels eventually, but just do a fit check, zoom out, check profiles, and now we're gonna go back, delete some of these halves that we don't need anymore, and move into the fine-tuning and delicate fitting stage. Move all these gantries. Don't forget to include these swept casings again. Aerofoil. Just do a scan as you go back. Make sure there's no missing parts that you deleted when you built the gantries. Check your flat panels are anchored properly. We're going to replicate this Vesper Diffuser. Place it like so. Now we need to add some rockets. For the life of me, I could not figure out how to mount them upside down on these Longshore Cowlings. The only one it would mount to was the engine. Now, if you guys know how I can fix that issue without excessive glitch building or inset stuff, let me know. But I found it does mount to the engines. So rockets and engines, double the fun. Top side, underside. These are basically cosmetic because your cannons and all your weaponry will fire from those cockpit mounted side turrets. So that's 3 rockets on each wing, 2 cannons, and of course the main dorsal cannon. Could even mount more rockets up there on the top. So here is an interesting little trick. If you select a decoration part, you can get different colorations. Coloration palette. I haven't done an exhaustive search, but you can experiment, find out, and match to your favorite chapter. Or you could even paint it red to make it go faster. But the color scheme I personally go for weathered finish, cobalt and orange. Yellow and black for these side panels. And weathered finish applied to the whole Corvette. Black and yellow. Careful not to click apply to entire Corvette. So black for these armor and panels. Black for these flat panels on the back. Now we're going to install the other 3 flat panels to make it balanced, port and starboard. I found the trick with flat panels is they will anchor wherever that white point is pointing. So the trick is to get that white point to have a clear LOS to where you want to point. Sometimes that means falling off the Corvette. It helps for this build if you do not activate free placement keys. Just regular snap placement. There you go. Just paint these tall cabinets on the front, the teeth black. I changed the nose ramp to be black as well. Alright. So we're just going to adjust the stairs. I prefer them in the back cab. And now you want to build it directly on top. So you've got a vertical stack of stairs that you can get into the cockpit. You've got a nice amount of room. Mission radar, refiner, storage cabinets, Terminator armor frame. Anything a space marine could want. And here's a 360 fly around. So you can review this part of the video, compare it with your own, and do a final check. Go. You have now built the Thunderhawk. Go forth and crush the enemies of the Imperium. In the name of the God Emperor.